You know our first guest tonight from movies such as Gods and Monsters, George of the Jungle, and The Mummy. He's receiving critical acclaim for his starring role in The Whale, which is in theaters now. Please welcome to the show, Brendan Fraser, everybody. Brendan.
Thank you.
This has been, we have not seen each other since 2008 when we collaborated.
Yes.
on Journey to the Center. It was very, I'd never been anywhere near a movie with a budget that big. It was very exciting to be there. You were incredibly gracious and kind.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. I don't feel like I was given much to do in the film.
You were the bad guy, weren't you?
I was the bad guy.
The de facto
I've
bad guy.
always said that I had two scenes in the movie. The first one was I was like, you can't go to the center of the earth. And then at the end, I was like, what? But it was 3D.
It was.
And the technology was sort of ahead of its time.
It was. That was the tip of the spear for 3D tech as we see it now in theaters, because the cameras we used were the ones that James Cameron kind of beta tested with that movie. And then we put him underwater and dropped him off of helicopters. And then he took him to New Zealand and he shot Avatar.
Yeah, and people talk about both those movies the same. But I do want to show my one clip because it was a 3D movie. I wanted to make sure I had one 3D moment. Again, it's an action film. It was an action film. I had none of the action scenes, but I'm very proud of this very short clip.
It's good.
This is the wrong time to shut us down. I have got seismic activity in Bolivia. I got a 13mm shipped in Mongolia. Alan, you can't shut us down. Keep the lab open. It's all I've got left of Max.
It's been 10 years since Max, Trevor. I am sorry about all this. I really am.
I mean, whoa. I mean, if you were in the theater opening night, people screamed. Now, you also, another face you haven't seen for a very long time is our cue card guy, Wally. Do you see Wally over there? Do you recognize old Wally, cue card Wally?
Hey, Wally.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How have you been?
I'm great, man. I'm really good.
It's good to see you again.
I know, you too, buddy.
So Wally, of course, was the cue card guy when you hosted SNL.
Yeah.
And another clip I'd like to show, because I remember watching it when it happened, you did a Xena, a Warrior Princess sketch.
Yes, I did.
With Molly Shannon.
Correct.
And one of those things that, happens in live television happen. And I want to say, I'm not going to say what it is, but I want to say you rolled with the punches very well. You fixed the problem very quickly. Can we show it real quick?
Please do.
All right, here you go. It's really well done.
Thank you.
Not just the awareness to know your wig came off, but to put it back on and then to split the hair. That's...
Thank you. And then I looked up and I was too busy laughing and I see Wally and he's doing...
Yeah, Wally keeps everybody on task. That's his job. This is such an incredibly heartbreaking and wonderful performance in this film, The Whale. And you've been receiving deserved accolades for it. You pay a 600-pound man who is housebound trying to reconnect with his daughter. Yeah. What drew you to doing what you must have known would have a huge emotional toll to...
When I read it, I felt like I could be friends with this guy. Mm-hmm. I identified in many ways about him as a father and as him wanting to reach out to young people to get them to be honest about who they are. And I also felt that there was a real story to be told about someone who's locked behind closed doors, and we get to peer inside his world, which is really just a two-bedroom apartment. That, and of course, it was directed by Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
I absolutely thought, well, sign me up. And on top of that, there was an extensive and careful use of prosthetic makeup, which I'm a big fan of. I love the craft of filmmaking and all of the elements that go into it. And a longtime collaborator of Darren's, Adrian Moreau, had put together a character look that I'm pretty sure for the first time, obeyed the laws of physics and gravity in how it it responded to an actor inside of it. Very often, weight gain suits and obesity portrayed in films has been unfair. It's been a silhouette of a costume inside an actor who's quite fit, just seems to just reorient the way that we believe that someone can actually move and exist. And in this incarnation of it, Charlie is a man who has significant health challenges, and he has very little time to reconnect with his daughter, if he can even do that at all. His is a path of redemption that he seeks. His daughter's played by Sadie Sink, who's fantastic in this film. I hope you get a chance to see her. And his friend and caretaker is played by Hung Chow, who is brilliant in this role. She's great in everything she does. There's something wonderful about Hung that I noticed right away. She's has this ability to say more in between lines of dialogue and in the pauses and the silences very often than what the lines are that are on the page. And it was a piece that was shot during COVID, and so for that, clearly we had to be very careful and with one another for our well-being and our safety, and somehow that translates to what I think you see on the screen. We seem to be giving it everything that we have because of, well, the really very real existential threat that we might not be able to come back and do this later. So might as well leave it all on the screen.
And I think one of the remarkable things about, obviously, the time that goes into the prosthetics is if you see any seam, if you see anything that takes you out of the story, it won't have the same resonance. And so I was really taken aback, just appreciating, and it was nice that you say, like, there's so many different people that go into making a movie. This is one in particular where you realize, oh, we're seeing craftsmanship on the screen here, because at no moment do you think, oh, this is just, you know.
It's an analog creation. There's no CGI. Well, with the exception of maybe a curative on some fabric that was in its own movie that morning or something, you know, a little bit later. But aside from that, what you see is what you get. That's, you know, an actor in a suit that is cumbersome enough to drive home the authenticity of what it appears to be an individual or a person who lives with that challenge.
Well, it was a stunning thing to see on film. I have a lot more to ask you about. We will be right back with more from Brendan Fraser, everybody.